皆さん、おはよう、こんにちは、こんばんは。世界のどこにいても。Hello, what's up? How you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. All the phrases. 今日は簡単に僕の日本語学習について話していこうと思います。僕の最後のビデオからたくさんの単語とフレーズを学びました。そしてそのビデオの最後にそのフレーズのいくつか、を使います。でもまずは僕の下手な日本語を聞かなくてもように英語で簡単に話します。And I learned a lot of phrases and words, like I said. I want to kind of talk about what I've done since last week and what I mentioned last week and how it's worked out, okay? So I mentioned last week that I was going to try a heavily influenced method regarding input, lots and lots of input. I mentioned a guy named Lamont last week in the last video and his channel Days and Words, and he's a heavy proponent of massive amounts of input. Even though you may not know what's going on or what you're hearing or what you're reading, just do it, lots of it, and eventually you'll start to pick up things and things will start to change in your brain and you'll begin to understand and make connections and stuff like that. So since last video, I have watched a ton of Japanese videos, a ton of them, just lots and lots of Japanese videos, barely knowing anything about what's going on. But I can say that I have picked up words and picked up some patterns and noticed things just in a week of watching videos. And it's been really cool. So just a few of the videos I've been watching from the channels that I like so far. I mentioned it last week. Atsuego. It's a guy named Atsu. And he kind of teaches how to pronounce English better to his viewers. I guess people trying to learn English. And he's got a guy named Nick, who's a native English speaker, on with him, who kind of gives different ways to say things in English. And they kind of talk about the phrases and how to pronounce them better and how to practice speaking English better. So I've been watching a lot of those videos. And Nick, the guy on the channel, has his own channel as well, which I just found like a couple days ago. And at the end of his video, he gave a bunch of standard YouTuber phrases like subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave a comment, stuff like that. So as soon as I heard that, I knew I needed to learn those phrases because I need to start getting used to saying them and just learning what they mean. And, you know, I'm on YouTube, so it'd be good for me to learn those phrases if I'm going to be speaking in Japanese. So I'm going to say those phrases at the end of the video. We'll see how good they come out, if I can remember them. There's one word I can't really remember right now. I may have to look it up, but I think it'll be okay. So I'm learning a lot of new phrases and words. I've picked out words that I can hear. For example, I hear the word omoimasu all the time in Japanese videos. To omoimasu. To omoimasu is a grammatical concept. To omoimasu. I don't really understand it fully yet, but reading about it, it was at the end of the phrase that I said at the beginning of the video. And I learned that from Atsu. He started off a video with that phrase, and I thought, I've got to learn that exact phrase. He mentioned the word bunpo, which is grammar. So I just changed bunpo to boku no nihongo gakushu, okay? Which I think is my Japanese learning. It should be. So he was talking about grammar, so I just changed it to where I'm talking about my language learning, my Japanese learning. So, and he used to omoimasu. I guess I could have said hanashitai desu. I want to say or I want to speak. So anyway, I tried it. I think it worked out. You can let me know if it didn't, but that's what I said at the top of the video. Some other words that have stuck out to me that I've learned just from watching videos, okay? And reading comments. I'm kind of looking at the comments. Even though I can't read them, I can read the hiragana and the katakana, and I can pick out some stuff, okay? So I've got some notes here. Itsuka no noto o moteimasu, so that I don't forget. I forgot. Let me back up a little bit. The YouTube channels I've been listening to are Atsuego. I already mentioned that one. And then there's two by this guy named June. He has a gaming channel with like 500 something thousand subscribers, and he has a blog channel. So his gaming channel is just June, and his blog channel is June Brogu. So I've been listening to him. He lives in Spain, I think. His family lives there. His mom has a YouTube channel. His family has a YouTube channel. I think they've got this whole YouTube empire. They're all on YouTube. So anyway, I've really enjoyed his videos, even though I can't understand most of what he's saying. But I have been able to pick up some things like Spaingo is Spanish. And for some reason, I guess I knew that, but I heard him say it and it reminded me, hey, yeah, I remember that. Spaingo. Spaingo. Spanish. It's kind of like Spain language. Spanish. Pretty cool. So some other words. I've just got a few listed here that were off the top of my head. Nanka. Nanka. I heard Nick say this, the guy Nick I was talking about in his channel. I heard him say it multiple times in the video that he had. And for some reason, I never noticed it before, but he kept saying Nanka. Well, come to find out, that's like a filler word. Like when you don't know what to say next and you're kind of thinking. I guess it would be similar to in English. But, you know, the Japanese also have ano, which means Nick even said one time, Nanka ano, and then kept going. So it's kind of like one of those, you're speaking and you get to a spot and you don't know, you're trying to think what to say next, Nanka, and then you keep going. At work, where I work, we have a lot of Japanese people, and I hear them say all the time, ma, ma, like they'll be talking, pause, ma, and then keep going. So ma is a filler word as well. So ma, nanka, ano. I hear ano and ma all the time at work. I don't recall hearing nanka, but whatever. It's a word I learned, and it's pretty cool. I think it also means something else, like you can use it in another way. Some more words. Yabai. Yabai. I saw that in a comment. Yabai. And apparently yabai can mean different things. It can mean dangerous. Kind of like that guy over there is kind of dangerous. Ano otoko wa yabai da. Or it can mean good, but it can mean bad, depending on the context. Yabai. Yabai. I think. It's kind of like the word bad in English. I can tell somebody, that's just bad. Or I can say, man, that's bad. Like, that's good, but I said the word bad. Something like that. Then I saw in a comment, majide. Majide? Seriously? Majide? Maji written in katakana with de, hiragana. I think that comes from some other word somehow, but majide. Pera pera. I've been seeing this in thumbnails on YouTube on Atsuego's channel. Pera pera. Like, for example, the word Nihongo pera pera or Eigo pera pera. Well, come to find out, pera pera means fluent or fluently. Like I can say to myself, I can make a thumbnail of myself and put it on the screen. Eigo pera pera. Like fluent in English, okay? I don't know how that means fluent. I don't know where it comes from. I haven't looked it up yet, but pera pera means fluent, and it's written in katakana. Then we've got daro. Daro, you know what I mean? Daro, you know what I mean? I saw that in some subtitles, so I did a screenshot of it. So that's what I've been doing. I've been taking screenshots of things when I see them, learning what the phrase is. I've started an Anki deck just on all of this video watching, and I'm adding words and phrases to it. So here we go. We're at the end of the video. I'm going to keep this up. I'm going to keep watching a ton of Japanese videos. Commento o nokoshite kudasai. いいねを押してね。チャンネル. That's the one I can remember. Anyway, those were my YouTuber phrases. And one last thing, this is going to be my motto. I just saw this earlier on a YouTube channel from a Japanese channel teaching how to talk Japanese. And I like this phrase, and it's going to be my motto, I think, in Japanese. I did write it down because I don't know if I can remember it by now. But it's Machigaeta toki koso Nihongo ga jouzu ni naru chantsu. That's it. Thanks for watching. Mata ne.